Hi guys, I'm Noelle. Today I'm going to show you how my brand new Mira7s Redline CO2 laser has changed my whole process for making these heavy duty leather bags. So I make these entirely by hand. I do hand sew them. People love the hand stitching, but it is very, very thick leather. This is called vegetable tan leather, and it turns gold the longer you have it, and it lasts literally forever. It takes on a seasoning of time, but it's super thick and hard to work with. So I'm going to show you how I had to punch every hole. All of these stitches, I hand punched these holes. I hand punched all of these holes and hand stitched it. Now I know there are sewing machines that will sew this thick of leather, but I did not want to invest in a big heavy duty sewing machine. I didn't get the laser thinking I was going to make bags with it, but I realized I can make my process so much more easy. Not only that, the laser can engrave my logo and other designs on the bag. So I'm going to show you all of that. In fact, I've used it to come up with some different logo ideas. This is the leather that the bag is made with. You can actually see how it changes color over time. This bag I've been carrying around probably a year. And this is a fresh raw piece of leather. Very, very heavy. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to cut out a new bag. I'm going to cut the rivet holes, the stitch holes, and it'll be ready to put together.
Okay, first of all, before I had a laser engraver, I had to draw out my designs for my bags by hand. I did not have any software. I did not have any design training. When I got my Aeon laser, it came with a Lightburn package, which actually, Lightburn is a very easy design software to learn. For me, it was very intuitive. So now I can create my
Assistant.
designs on Lightburn and they're saved there and they're easy to replicate. This is a hole punch. It has evenly spaced prongs so that I can put holes in the leather and pass a needle and thread through there. It's so thick, I can't just sew through the leather. First, I have to punch the holes. And actually, these things would get dull after about one or two bags. Painstakingly, I have to line up the prong all along the edges of the bag. There are many stitches in a bag, and it took actually a couple of hours to do this. I also had to punch a hole for every rivet in the bag, and it has a lot of rivets holding the pockets on and the straps on. And here I'm just showing you an example of the rivet, how it has to pass through the leather. It needs a hole first to pass through. This bag would need all of these holes, all of these holes, all of this stitching. People love this double hand stitching because it shows, and it's just two rows of side by side. I had a lot of trouble with this juncture because it's so thick, making the holes big enough to punch through, getting them to line up. So for my laser engraving design, I'm going to measure the actual size of the holes that I used to punch into the bag. I'm going to use that as a baseline.
0.1260.
I also measured my rivet punch.
Holding down the shift key to make it perfectly round. That's a pretty small hole. These are going to be, we're going to do 4 along each side. And D, 2. Okay. Let's distribute them evenly. Arrange. Distribute. Vertically spaced. Now I'm going to group these. And I'm going to, well, I'm just going to duplicate it. And here's my pocket cutout. I'm going to sit that over there, and I'm actually going to group that one. This one, I don't need to cut anything here, so I'm just going to leave the holes there.
And then once I arrayed my stitch holes all along the edges wherever I'm going to need to sew, I was able to line them all up perfectly so they'll match when I put the bag together. I then designed a logo in Canva, imported it into Lightburn.
Okay, I will just trace this. Hope it came out okay. I'm gonna turn this to a fill and get rid of this. I'm gonna place it at the top of the bag, so it's gonna go on this piece. I'm gonna center this vertically, align, horizontal center. There we go. Here's our design. I'm gonna go, let's go cut it out. I'm going to cut my first leather bag piece. I did cut it to size for my laser bed. And you know, if I wanted to do a bigger piece of leather, I could use the pass-through feature. But you can see to cut the piece down, look at the ragged edges that I get. It's hard for me to cut and keep a nice edge. And the edge is everything on these leather products. It is a little bit uneven of a surface. I have some magnets I've been making with scraps. I glued some magnets to the bottoms of this, and this is going to be a kind of a great little way to magnet down. It's low profile, so it's not going to hit the laser head. I know that the center of the bag is going to be safe. There's no stitching or anything in the center. Everyone at my club wants one of these bags, and I have to make a bunch of them, so I'm super excited. I've never tried this yet. I'm so happy that I realized I could cut it with my Aeon laser. All right, sending.
So now my laser is going to do all of that hard work, the punching and the cutting, in about 10 minutes instead of 2 to 4 hours. Plus, it's going to do a logo, which I never could apply before.
Let's frame it out. Oh, I'm not starting in the right place. Okay, hold please. This is why you don't want to have magnets and things sticking up, because it might go outside of where you think it's going to go. And then frame. Okay. By the way, I have it set to do my engraves first. You want your layers, so it's engraved first and then cut. I'm going to put on my handy dandy laser glasses. You do not want to get laser burns on your eyes. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I am focused. I got so excited, I almost forgot to focus, but that's your autofocus. So easy. Ready, set, go. So it's passing right over that magnet thing, so that's good. It's starting the engrave of the side patterns. I mean, honestly, how I was putting patterns on this leather before, I would lay like keys and things on top of it and lay it out in the sun and get it to be sun dyed, but it doesn't work very well. And I was thinking, to put my logo in, should I get an embossing thing or a brand? So I'm just so excited it can engrave. So I did do a materials test right out of Lightburn, and you can see though with the air on how beautiful this engrave is coming out. I'm just so impressed. So you can see that the leather is still not perfectly flat, but the laser is able to accommodate a slight deviation. Okay, here we go. We're going to start. This is what we've all been waiting for. Look at those holes. That is so fast. Okay, it is finished. All right, time to pull it out. The great thing is that the cutting took less than 5 minutes, and
It is beautiful. Lifts right out. These are all the little holes. Look at that. It's beautiful. Part one of my bag. I am amazed, amazed, amazed. Look at that. Okay, time for part two. Okay, it's going to engrave, cut the holes, and then cut the line. Then we put on our laser cool dude glasses. Oh, we got this one. This one. Welcome. What do you think? Morrow, like tomorrow, like it lasts for infinity. I cannot wait to put this together. Just so you guys can see how this will go together, this is going to be the bag, and then it'll be a bit taller. Okay. It'll be put together much like this one. The whole thing took less than 10 minutes to cut out with all the holes. It's ready to sew. Woohoo! So I want to show you a little example of how it was to sew this through this in the past. I am just showing you an example. I don't ever want to punch holes by hand again, so I'm just using this little sample to kind of show you what the process was like. I'd have to line up the holes, and it's pretty hard to pull through. This is so frustrating to even find the hole. They weren't really perfectly matched up either when I did them by hand. As a comparison, these laser precision holes have been perfectly aligned with each other via my Lightburn software. This pulls through brilliantly. I do not have a pony to hold my leather, so I'm just holding it between my knees to show you this. But honestly, now that I have found this easier way to punch the holes in my bag, I'm going to invest in a pony. This is so much more of a pleasure. The holes are just perfectly aligned, and they're actually a little bigger than the hole punch made them, or even with an awl. I don't have to use an awl to punch through by hand, and I still get to keep the hand stitch look. And as you can see, this area that I had so much trouble with before, I was able to navigate. So the bag is completely sewn. My straps, I need to get more of this material. This is 5mm thick leather. This is 3mm thick. I'm out of the 5, but the other thing is I always had to purchase these straps pre-cut before because there's no way I could get it perfectly straight. It's very, very thick, even thicker than this. So I will be able to cut straps myself with my laser in the future if I want to. This will attach here. You can see for the sake of our demonstration how easily the stitch holes are punched in. Everything went together very smoothly. It was super fast to sew. So the bag is sewn and I'm very, very happy. I've got a beautiful hand stitch look, but I had the help of my Aeon laser.
I'm in love with my laser.
So the bag is completely sewn, except for the bag is completely sewn. The only thing is that I have not done the straps yet. Those of you who are looking carefully will notice that when I made my design, I accidentally lost the dots, the holes from here, the rivet holes. Those I will have to do by hand, and that will be the last time I ever do any rivet holes by hand. These will be sewn. My straps, I need to get more of this material. This is 5mm thick leather. This is 3mm thick. I'm out of the 5, but the other thing is I always had to purchase these straps pre-cut before because there's no way I could get it perfectly straight. It's very, very thick, even thicker than this. So I will be able to cut straps myself with my laser in the future if I want to. This will attach here. I will attach my pocket, but you can see, for the sake of our demonstration, how evenly the stitches are punched in. You can see, for the sake of our demonstration, how easily the stitch holes are punched in. Everything went together very smoothly. It was super fast to sew, and it still maintains the beautiful hand-stitched look. Plus, I was able to put a logo. I think going forward, I might engrave the logo on the inside just to keep this even more clean. However, I like the logo there. It will engrave on the inside as well as the outside. Here's the inside of the bag. In summary, sewing this bag was a lot easier with the precision laser cut holes. The seams matched up perfectly because the laser is a precision instrument. The edges are very smooth. It was so easy to sew with these holes as big as they are. It was easy to put everything together, even over the thick parts. I'll soon be able to cut my own 5mm leather straps. I'm so happy with this. I can't even believe I'm so happy with this. I can't even believe I thought of it. I'm so happy with this. I never expected to sew this with a laser machine, but it's helped me greatly.